So it's about 6:15 on Saturday, July the 16th, and I'm just heading out on a wild night out. It's part of a fundraising exercise, and also highlighting just how easy it is to have an adventure and how sort of cool it can be. So I've just left Bath. I'm on Kilkenny Lane, which is actually quite parallel to quite a busy road. It's fantastic along. It's dead quiet. All the main traffic, I can hear it, I can't see it, is over there about 500 yards. So this evening it's about a 32-mile ride, so it just shows you don't have to go too far to have a really good time. Where I'm heading for is right at the foot of Glastonbury Tor. The reason I've chosen that is I quite often ride by it on a 600-kilometre Audax that I do, and it's quite near the end. You know, I've sort of been on the road for about 38 hours, so I'm just quite keen to get home by that stage. And I quite often see new age travellers parked up along this sort of very quiet road. And I often sort of think, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to sort of spend the night there. So I've been sort of wanting to do this for quite a long time. Next leg is along here. I'm going to drop down around the outskirts of Porton, climbing up over the Mendips on not one of the big major well-known roads like Cheddar Gorge or Wells. I'm going to take some of the lesser known roads over the Mendips. A place called Masbury. It's where the old Somerset and Dorset Railway crossed over the Mendips, about 811 feet. Then there's a really precipitous drop down into the Sheppey Valley, then up again around Peel. It's quite close to where the Glastonbury Festival is held, and then onto the Somerset levels. So I'm do a bit more film along the route and let you know how I was getting on, tell you a little bit more about the charity involved and just the whole concept of a wild night out. So I've crossed the Mendips at Masbury as I drop down to the village of Croscombe in the Sheppey Valley. A little bit more about the purpose of tonight. It's Wild Night Out is designed to sort of just encourage people to just get up and have an adventure, whether you go canoeing, backpacking, walking, anything, just to get yourself out of your normal sort of routine and environment. Just go out and explore a little bit. Just to raise the profile of having an adventure, and in my case you don't have to go very far. You know, when I was younger I thought I had to go to the Alps or, you know, cross continental Europe, get a flight at least, or a boat, a long coach journey, and you don't. You can literally do it from your front door overnight, and this is an example of how. It's also tied in with raising money for the Youth Adventure Trust, which helps and supports disadvantaged young people to just get out and enjoy life just as everybody else can. You don't need massive amounts of equipment and kit, it's a myth. So I've always been a bit reluctant just to sort of put my hand in my pocket and put money in a charity collection jar, you know, or make a donation, everything's going to be okay, but that's just not the case, is it? So I try and give me time and other skills whenever possible, but I realised I wanted to sort of make a donation towards the Youth Adventure Trust on this trip. And rather than just decide on a nominal sum, I gave it a little bit of thought, and what I've decided is I will pledge the amount of the equivalent night in a Travelodge, because there actually is one at Glastonbury near Street, and so that's the amount I've decided on. And finally, on a personal note, my passion has always been sort of exploring places in more depth. Whether you use an Ordnance Survey map or the modern technology, say a smartphone with Google Maps or Strava, whatever your preferred choice is, just get off the beaten track and explore areas. You'll find so much more there than just the same old tourist spots. now about 9:30. I've just got my bivvy up. I found the spot I wanted to. I'm very close to Glastonbury Tor. I'll just pan the camera around and you can sort of see. That's what my bivvy is actually looking at. I suppose I'm about a mile and a half from central Glastonbury, about 2 miles from the Tor. So when I wake up in the morning I'm going to have that view. Got a couple of cans of beer. Here's my bivvy already made up. I bivvied a lot when I was younger. Had much cheaper bags in those days. You sweated in them a lot. They weren't always waterproof. To be honest, they were quite claustrophobic for somebody like me. So about 10 years ago I invested in a slightly better one, much better one actually. But you don't have to spend a shed load of money. But this one just got a single pole through it, which just raises the headspace about 15-20 inches maybe, just feels a little bit less claustrophobic in there. One of the things I like doing, tonight's a perfect example, is wild camping or wild bivvying. And if you do that several nights on the trot, I mean, one of the problems that arises, you just got to keep yourself clean and hygienic. So you haven't got shower blocks on a campsite, so you have to think a bit creatively. And one of the tips I would pass on, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but just use a map, or these days a smartphone and a Google map, and just find out where the nearest motorway service station is. You don't, even on a bicycle you can get in the service stations and they've nearly all got showers in there. Most people are probably not even aware of it. They're there for the truckers. In fact, there's legislation now that motorway services have to be built with showers, so that they're nearly always there. You may have to look round a little bit, you may even have to ask. I think I've had to ask permission once in about 25 years to have a shower, just to get the key off somebody. I think it was a Marks and Spencer's desk right next to the showers, and I think I left my watch as a deposit, but normally you can just walk straight in. That's a good little tip. And motorway service stations, you can get in on a bike, you can get in on foot. They've all got access roads for the staff and deliveries, because the staff don't turn up, from Junction 32, 15 miles down the road. The only thing I would sort of say, use a little bit of caution and common sense. Cars aren't going to be doing motorway speeds in a motorway service car park, but they're also not going to be expecting cyclists sort of there. So just use a bit of discretion and sort of appreciate the fact they're not going to be expecting you, so sort of just be very careful getting in. And the other thing I would say about them is, again, legislation, they're required to be open 24 hours a day, so even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning you can bang in there, get some hot food, get a shower. Not one of these people that are going to pass a lot of tips on, because it's up to everyone to find out what works for themselves. But yeah, that would be the one tip I would pass on. It's absolutely gorgeous here, about 10 o'clock now. I can hear a bit of music in the background. I think the memory of the ride down here is going to be the smells actually. Just remember as I was heading up to the Mendips, just kept smelling that paraffin, smelling the air of people lighting barbecues, and then sort of the smoke and the sort of sizzling meat, that smell. And then I went through a couple of sort of woods where there was it's quite dank and damp. You've got that lovely smell of wild garlic. So the sights were good, but I think what I remember about the journey down was going to be those smells actually. And then I saw the sheep in the road, and then just a few hundred yards from this destination I saw a cow in the road. So just things like that, you can never plan things like that. Well, it's about 10:30 at night now, and I'm looking at Glastonbury Tor from the bivvy site, and can hear some music coming from that area, and there's some sort of light show up there, and there's a couple of like what looks like lasers or powerful light beams that to all intents look like a couple of flying saucers that orbiting the Tor. I mean, it's well known for attracting people who sort of see the world a little bit differently. I guess that's one of the things that attracts me as well. But it's pretty amazing to look at. It's just, this is what I like about adventures really. You could just never plan this sort of thing, it just happens. Fantastic little lane this. I ride by here quite a lot as I'm skirting a pretty busy main road from Shepton Mallet into Glastonbury. And the purpose of this bivvy was, I always sort of thought, one day I'm going to bivvy there, so next time I ride by I'll be able to sort of say, once I bivvied there, I have some good memories. Who knows, I might even come back and do it again.